Welcome to New Gameplay Today. I'm Matt Miller. I'm joined by Dan Tack.
Hello!
We are taking a look at Hades, a new game from Supergiant Games, one of my favorite studios. I'm pretty stoked about this, but I have not yet had a chance to play it. Dan, you dug in a little bit last night after this was announced at the Game Awards. Showed up on the new Epic Games store. And yeah, tell me a little bit about it. What is it? How is this a Supergiant game, and how is it different from what we've come to expect from Supergiant?
Okay, so from the combat standpoint, it does feel kind of like it's got the you got a couple different moves. You got like dash, special, attack, and ranged, basically. And we're gonna see right here, you meet different gods in your course of the dungeon on every playthrough, and then you can modify different variables, like if you want to increase your attack, your cast, or your dash. These can have different rarities. This is the sort of tutorial mission. I'm not supposed to really make it anywhere out of here. So your save file apparently does not carry over. That's important to know from computer to computer if you're switching computers, interestingly enough.
Okay.
So this is sort of the first run. We're going to get a look at like a lot of the systems that are underneath things once we get back to the hub area.
Sure.
Which you do not start in. But essentially we are attempting to escape Hades. We are the son of Hades. This is steeped in Greek mythology.
Yeah, for sure. For people who are watching this right now who are like, this looks kind of familiar, but I don't really, maybe you don't necessarily know the name of the studio super well. Supergiant are the folks who brought us Pyre most recently. They did Bastion. They did Transistor. And one of the most interesting things about that studio is that they have this kind of united art style aesthetic that they go for in all their games that, I think you can always tell that it's a Supergiant game, but the genres of their games thus far have been really different. And what's the general take here? I mean, the last thing they did was sort of a arcade sports RPG, right? Which what Pyre was.
Right.
What category does this fall into?
This is absolutely like your quintessential dungeon crawling roguelike. So there's elements of procedural generation. There's some rules, like you're always going to, after a certain number of rooms, you're always going to fight a mini-boss. You're going to fight a boss at a certain time. That's going to be the same. But the rooms themselves are laid out like, we've got lots of traps, lots of different enemies, special enemies, different other variables that can happen, like chests that you have to fight a bunch of enemies to unlock. Like, I just got a health power-up there. It could have been a god power-up to change my abilities. Could be anything. The doors that you go through, they tell you what's going to be in the room next. So if I complete this room, I'm going to get some, I don't even know what they're called, these little purple shard things.
Okay.
They're the core currency. That and keys. That, keys, and ambrosia. And all of these things add persistent progression elements to the game that you can use to unlock in the hub area. So this is not a core roguelike in which you are just starting from scratch every run with unlocks. You're actually increasing your character's power.
Got it. So the next time this guy runs through...
yeah, I'm going to die here soon.
He'll be better. He'll be better able to...
I will be able to spend my shards to unlock some new perks.
Yeah.
And these are going to be... These are strict power upgrades.
Okay.
In most cases. So, see, I get some shards for this room. And this door will now tell me, there's health in this room. A health max and 25 health if I beat it.
Sure.
And when you have the option, some of the things will give you different options. Like, you can go in this room, you can go in this room. So that's nice. This will give me some more health.
So,
this is what we call a safe room. So I just got the item, and there's nothing else here to do, which is right. Okay.
Hey, and you survived.
I did, because there's no enemies. So now I have a choice. Another room with shards, which is again the currency, or this is a shop room, which Charon, or I don't know how to pronounce his name, the Greeks.
Yeah.
The ferryman of the dead, right? He'll be in here, and he'll be selling some different stuff. Shop rooms are frequent. We can also earn his favor eventually. Again, you get these ambrosia bottles, okay? We don't have any yet. They'll show up in other runs, and they allow you to, on these little, like, these things offer story. There is a story here.
Yeah, what is the story here?
Most roguelikes don't have that. Again, on the surface, what you know in the first few minutes is that you're just trying to escape Hades and your dad. You don't really get any more context till later, but there is a story that I'm not going to spoil in addition to that on top. We don't have any money, so we can't buy any of this stuff. But various power-ups here. This guy won't say anything right now, but...
See you, Carol, mate. Just minding my own business, taking in the signs,
and for those who are into more of the story element of this, it does have more than almost any other roguelike I've played. There's lots of people to talk to in the hub that we're going to go to as soon as we die. And you'll see that we haven't seen that yet in this playthrough, since it just starts you out right in the dungeon in the middle of the action, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And through here.
And so after this, then you would start getting into these more kind of procedurally generated dungeons beyond this initial intro.
So it's all about
sequence.
really like tile sets and enemy types. So
Okay.
like in this first area, Tartarus,
Yep.
you've got like these skulls and crystals and big fat dudes, and then the second area, which I've managed to get through on a different run, is filled with different enemy types and stuff like that. So there are rules to the procedural generation, obviously.
Right.
But there are all kinds of like random things you can find and random things that can happen along the course of each run to make them a little bit fresh and interesting. And of course, you'll never know which kind of god powers you're going to have access to each run. This run we haven't gotten any. We've got one buff from Athena. But the runs that you do really good in, generally you're going to be combining different god effects like Zeus and Artemis. And, one of my favorites is Aphrodite. She's got a really powerful dash modifier, which makes it very easy to get in and out of combat while doing massive damage and debuffing enemies. So
I'm interested in the idea of a roguelite like this that is trying to embrace storytelling a little bit more, which is
Right.
a specialty of Supergiant games.
So this is another Athena buff, so we didn't get to talk to the god directly since Athena is already buffing us up this run.
Uh-huh.
We're going to take another Athena modifier, so now my special's better. Sweet. This is great. This is actually a really good mod. So this one I can get a...
Yeah, what are our choices here?
So I don't even know what that symbol means. I think it just adds to a different buff.
Okay.
To a current buff. This one will give us a new god. Oh, and this is a mini boss level that you'll always have going through Tartarus. This is the double skeletons, as they're called. That's what he refers to them as. So I have this...
Got some rockin' soundtrack here.
Yeah.
A little different from Supergiant's normal folksy fare.
So this Athena mod I just picked up is
Uh-huh.
going to buff my special effects, so it gives me a deflect modifier.
Okay.
So basically my strategy right now is to just keep spamming that so I don't take damage while dishing out damage. However, they did get an opening there and hit me with a bomb, which really hurt.
Yeah.
They're almost dead, but I don't know. It's going to be really close. I'm one hit away. So that deflect timing is everything. Generally, I like to get these guys to sync up so that they're both like doing the movesets at the same time. This is a mini boss challenge you'll encounter every single time you go through this particular dungeon set.
Hey, way to go, Dan.
It's close.
Number two. It's got to be. Then, in the name of Hades, this message.
So this is going to give us a different god, Poseidon. He's got very powerful buffs as well. They all do.
We've a lot of catching up to do, but things first. You get yourself out of that dour underworld. As for me, I'll see if I can stir things up a bit to cover your advance.
So he'll give me a choice of buffs, and they have different rarities on the buffs. So sometimes you see rare and epic. And, ooh, let's see. This one doesn't even modify my stuff, but it just gives me.
That seems really
stuff.
solid.
It does.
Especially as you're trying to build up your supplies early on here.
Right, but this dash is also very nice. Modifying your dash doesn't seem very powerful, but in practice it very much is.
It seems like from what I've seen so far, the dashing move is fairly fundamental.
No,
to
it depends on your
what's going
strategy.
in the game, right?
You can be sort of a caster instead and try to keep your range, but
Okay.
you have to develop that outside of the dungeon itself in order to make that more of a viable build.
Sure.
So we will see that.
So let's.
So this room is going to have a key in it. Keys are very important. They are a much better currency than the standard currency, and they let you unlock new weapons. So
That
you're not just
sounds
stuck with the
solid.
sword at all. You've got. So I've used in my runs. I've used a bow, and they unlock permanently.
Okay,
You
so you can actually
swap between
choose
them
at the
in the hub. Yeah.
start. Okay, that's cool.
So there's like a spear, there's a bow, and everything plays fundamentally different.
Let me ask you, take a step back a little bit.
And
if
just
you-
real quickly,
Yeah.
that will change the moves, the buffs that the gods give you as well.
Okay.
They're tied to each item.
Oh, okay, cool. So I was going to say, let's take a step back a little bit from, even as we continue to watch you murder some demons here. For people who haven't necessarily been watching closely this week, Hades comes to us here in a way that we haven't been used to yet, right? With some big announcements from Epic this week. What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is available in early access only on the Epic Games Store.
Right.
Which is
where
crazy.
people are, people are used to going to Epic for Fortnite right
That
now,
is-
but that's kind of it.
probably the only reason most people had that launcher installed.
Whereas, increasingly this, with beginning this week, Epic is trying to make a go of things of saying, you know what, we can try to begin being a competitor with Steam. And obviously at this point, with just a few games on the launcher, it's nowhere near that yet, but they're going to be, I think we can be prognosticating pretty clearly that they're going to be continuing to chase things like this, finding good studios like Supergiant. Ooh, that was bloody.
Yeah, this is what will happen on most of your runs, but you'll always be developing, and
Yeah.
we're going to see a lot of that as we go back to the hub here. But go on.
But yeah, so seeing Epic trying to chase exclusives like this that they can tout as, hey, consumers, if you want to check out Supergiant's new thing, you got to come download the Epic Game Store and check that out. There's a lot of stuff going on in the back end there on the other side of the equation with the payments that are going to developers. Epic has made a very aggressive approach to that in terms of offering a better deal to developers than what they're able to get at Steam.
Right.
So it's going to be kind of an ongoing story here in the next year, I think.
They're offering a different deal for developers. Like the standard Steam model is Steam takes 30%.
Right.
So I believe the Epic Games is what, 12%? Is that the correct number? That's a substantial difference.
It's
It's 12.
Is it 12?
Ben
There-
Hansen
thank
here.
you,
It's
Hansen.
12.
Thank you, Ben Hansen. So you've got all these different people, and you sort of you can work up sort of persona-style rankings with these characters.
Oh, that's cool.
You'll unlock a little book here in a little bit that tells you what your rank was with everybody. And that will give you new rewards. That will give you new... I'll show you in a minute here. Unfortunately, we didn't get any Ambrosia that run, so I can't even show you an example, but I can show you where you go to do this stuff and how they work. So basically, you can take one special modifier into each run based on the character that you're aligned with from their boon. And here's the mirror. This is where you do most of your progression stuff, or some of it.
So if you've gotten some of these what are these, shards?
Yeah, so these little... I don't even know what they're called.
These gem things.
Purple gem things.
Purple gem things. That's an official name, I'm sure.
Yes. And keys. You have to use keys to unlock some of these more powerful things.
Sure.
Like Death Defiance, which is amazingly good. Lets you come back from dying. Very, very powerful stuff. And these other things are all really powerful too. Health every time you go into a room. An extra attack for your cat. This is for if you want to go more of a ranged build. Your cast, more souls to shoot out. More backstab damage. More dashes. This is a lot of really fundamental... powerful, strong, and important upgrades.
So is this stuff that you once you have it, it's just always on, or do you have to actually equip
That
different
stuff's always
abilities?
on.
Okay.
Now here's the equipment stuff. These are the weapons you can unlock in the current build. There's the bow, the spear. I don't even know what this thing is because I haven't unlocked it yet. And then this cage holds a number of keepsakes, which you can only use one at a time, and they're tied to your relationship levels with the gods and the other characters in the underworld. So you can be one of them, for instance, is plus 25 starting health. One of them is keep 200 gold after death.
But you only get one.
But you can only use one at a time.
Got it.
And then here's back into the dungeon.
So you're basically just a dude trying to run away from home again and again and again.
Ostensibly, it does get a little bit more advanced as you go through. But that is the starting story that you're aware of.
Dan, I'm pretty stoked about this game. I really like Supergiant. I enjoy roguelites where there's a sense of actual progression over time.
You are getting better, and if you have trepidation about roguelikes, I would say this is one of the more generous ones in terms of the fact that you will be making permanent progression.
And gosh, their aesthetic that they go for visually and with their sound effects and with their music in these games always just really does it for me. So I'm pretty stoked to spend some more time with this. Go get that Epic Game Store. Give it a shot. This game is now in early access. Everybody can go check this out if they want to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the game is actually...
I want to say it's $20.
Yes, it is.
And so, if this seems like something that you want, it is not the complete game yet, just like lots of early access titles, but you can play the same thing that we're looking at right now and see if it might be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for showing this to me, Dan. Appreciate it. And thanks everybody out there for watching. We will see you later. Bye.